Good day, first world travellers, and welcome back. Yes, I finally left Japan. I'm now in Busan, and I'm going to show you in this video some things to do in the second largest city in South Korea. Firstly, I just want to mention something about the Korean language. So, compared to Japanese, I find Korean a lot easier to remember in terms of vocabulary. However, in terms of pronunciation, I am hopeless. I cannot say any Korean words to save my life. Now, instead of making a complete idiot of myself in this video, I probably will anyway, I'm going to replace any of these words in the style of the British 80s quiz show Blankety Blank with the word blank. Just so you know. So Busan does have a subway system, although it's not particularly extensive. There's only 4 lines. The ticket machines are behind me, and I must admit they're not the easiest ticket machines to fathom in the world. There's 3 ways of getting a ticket, basically. First one is the daily pass, which you can see here. What that means is you can get the subway as many times as you want up until midnight that night. The other 2 ways are kind of connected. So number 1, you can get a ticket for that particular line. So if you're just going to a stop 2 stops down on the same line, select the option to buy a ticket by line. The other option is to do it by sector. So if you're from London, you'll know what I'm talking about. So the subway here is split up into zones. So even if you're getting a ticket from A station to B station that's on a different line, that's classed as the same sector, potentially. So there's the ways of getting the Busan subway. The first stop is to the south of Busan, which is in the Nampo area. Now there are 2 markets here, Blanc Market and Blanc Market, where you can sample some street food amongst other things. I'm showing you some examples here of Korean street food. Unfortunately, I will not be trying any because I'm not the biggest fan of South Korean street food. I know this from my last trip in Korea. Additionally, there are other forms of shopping here, from clothes shops to clothes on market stalls, old tat, souvenirs, and also some potentially memorabilia of South Korean boy bands. I'm not quite sure. Okay, I was joking. I wouldn't leave Busan without trying South Korea's apparently most famous dish. It's called Tteokbokki. The woman told me how to say it, by the way, so don't blame me if that's wrong. Basically, it's braised rice cake in a chili sauce with some sort of meat with it. I don't know what it is. You get it in a bag. I'll show you in a second, because I'm taking it away, and I've got a stick to eat with, literally on the street next to the subway, and a few phone boxes. So here is this monstrosity. Actually smells quite nice, chili sauce. Oh god. That is horrendous. Okay, I've swallowed it. Wonderful. Quite possibly the worst thing I've eaten in my life. Absolutely awful. So the texture is chewy, it's tough. Takes ages to chew it, as you've just seen, and swallow it. The chili sauce is nice though, but just the texture of that thing, rice cake, doesn't look like a rice cake to me. All in all, that was horrendous, absolutely awful. And my thing that I said about South Korean food being disgusting, I'm sticking with it. On to point of interest number 2. So Busan is a port city, being on the south coast of South Korea. Behind me is Blanc Bridge. Okay, I know the name of this one. It's the Yeongdo Bridge. See what I mean? Yeongdo Bridge. There is a longer name, but I'm hopeless at saying that one. And the thing about this bridge basically is it goes up and down. It's like a rising bridge to allow ships underneath. I'm going to hang out here for a bit to see if I can get a time lapse of this bridge going up. It is like 6 in the evening, so I don't know whether boats will be going through at this time. We'll see. So as you can see, the view behind me from this bridge is fantastic. So when you fly into Busan, you'll notice that it's very unique and quite spectacular actually. So you'll see tons and tons of mountains in the area, and all between the middle, snaking between these mountains, are millions, what seems like millions, of skyscrapers and tall residential buildings. It's stunning. This probably doesn't do it justice, but it's really cool. So this statue, just as you come off the bridge, is a famous guy from South Korea, this area, I believe. So when the Korean War broke out in 1950, this guy was a musician and he composed a song to basically motivate troops, things like that. It was about a person who lost their sister at a port during an evacuation when the war broke out. So, bit of interesting history there. I won't sit on his lap. So in case you hadn't noticed, there are no boats or ships going underneath this bridge, so it won't be going up and down. However, the view more than enough makes up for it. Spectacular. Behind me is Haeundae Beach. Now this is a famous beach in South Korea. You probably wouldn't think of beaches when you think of South Korea, but this is the one to come to if particularly you are a local. So it's not particularly big for tourists, but it's the weekend, it's Saturday, so it's pretty busy at the moment. It's about lunchtime. So even though it's not particularly touristy, like I said, you do have things behind me like the Sea Life Centre, so if you want to go to something like that, you can do. Let's go down to the sea, if I can find my way through the maze of parasols. I think that's what they're called. It's a bit like Brighton in England. People with rubber rings, umbrella things. It's just horrendous. But if, like I said, if you're a local, then it's probably a great place to come at the weekend. Even the sea isn't particularly nice colour. I'm not going to, you know, make it sound amazing when it isn't, but fantastic. And there's a drone going overhead. I hate drones. There are other beaches, by the way, in Busan. I'll put them next to my head, which are much quieter. Unfortunately, I haven't got time to go to them because I'm leaving tomorrow. But yeah, check them out when you're in Busan. On to point number 4. So it turns out I do have time to come to another beach. This is Gwamgalli Beach, which is to the west of Haeundae. It's about 8 stops on the green line, line number 2. It costs 1400 won. This is much more impressive. So yes, it's got people on it and it's got umbrellas and stuff, but it's a lot less busy. There's no, well, there are some people with rubber rings, but not the millions of them in the last place. And the view is stunning. Look, you've got the cityscape behind, you've got the bridge going across there. It's stunning. Amazing. And as I said, you wouldn't expect beaches to be in a city like Busan, but it's brilliant. I love it. Fantastic. Let's have a look around. So enough beaches for one day. On to point number 5. I'm going to climb up a mountain, apparently. So point number 5, I am just beginning the climb up Blanc Mountain. We got a map behind me and signs here telling me it's only half a kilometre. Somehow I don't think that is true. Wow, look at this. I'm in the forest. I love going in forests. Really cool and slightly scary. Let's continue down these steps. I know I'm meant to be going up a mountain, but turns out I'm going down. Wowzers. And surprise, surprise, it turns out I was going the wrong way because I was going downhill. So I turned around and the sign back there said 2.2 kilometres. It's now 1.6. So I'm getting there. These hills are horrific, but I'm going to make it if it's the last thing I do. Beautiful. I can see the main road. I think that's half of the way there or something. So I'm getting closer up the top now. Just look at these views. Amazeballs. So earlier on when I was at the bridge, I mentioned about when you fly in and you see all the buildings going between the mountains, well, hills. You can see that here. Stunning. So I came from all the way down there. Amazeballs. I still have some way to go though, so let's continue. Right, I'm getting there. So on the way up close to the top bit, the peak, you do have these nice little viewing areas and coffee van things. I just had an iced mocha, it was stupendous. I need to find new adjectives, I'm running out of them. So let's continue. So the great news is I've made it to the top of this mountain, hallelujah, at least almost the way. There's like a building up there, communications tower and a gate that I don't really want to go through. So the views are stupendous, just have a look now. 360 views of Busan, you can see all the buildings, all the mountains, the port, the bridges, absolutely amazing. So I just wanted to point out something, a serious point to end this video. So quite often when you're travelling, you can lose your travel mojo, you lose interest in it. This has happened to me many times. However, you can easily get it back again by doing something like this, by putting in some effort, putting in some hard work, coming out of your comfort zone, and it gives you a real sense of achievement. Absolutely wicked. And I'm really proud of myself actually for doing this. I know it's only a small mountain, but it's been months and months since I've done something like this, and I'm really glad I did. So if you've enjoyed having a look around Busan like I have, then make sure you do the like down the bottom. Why don't you tell me in the comments some more things to do in Busan, because I'm only here for 2 days, I can't really do that much. And don't forget to subscribe, because there's some videos coming from Shanghai. That's where I'm going next. Happy days. I'll catch you later.